A starting place for much of our food is soil. This resource is often overlooked and therefore often abused when managed for crops. One major consequence of agricultural soils is soil erosion.
You know, soil erosion is one of those hidden threats to our food system. When we look at a field, we may just assume the soil's been there forever. But what we know when we study the soil is soil moves, whether it's from wind or water. And if we don't have rich, healthy topsoil at the surface to grow our food, then the food production suffers.
Some of the worst water erosion in the central U.S. occurred in areas with poorly drained soils. In the 1920s, the U.S. Department of Agriculture began research in erosion hotspots. One of those hotspots was the claypan soil region in Missouri.
So our claypan soils are really vulnerable to erosion because the topsoil layer that's right above the claypan is often very thin. And if we lose that topsoil, then we're down to that clay layer, which is much harder to farm.
Some of the earliest erosion studies in the U.S. were on claypan soils right on the campus of the University of Missouri. They were called the Dooley-Miller plots. Additionally, research conducted on nearby Sanborn Field demonstrated how soil fertility, crop rotations, and cover crops impact erosion, and subsequently crop productivity.
Here at Sanborn Field, with our different treatments side by side, we can measure not only our soil erosion, but also that productivity. For example, the longer our rotation, the better our soil productivity and less our soil erosion.
Several major discoveries have emerged since the beginning of Sanborn Field.
Yeah, one thing we've seen with the different management systems here is that the way the ground is managed affects the amount of erosion.
Sanborn Field has shown that soil erosion is minimized when manure is applied or cover crops are utilized. When fertility is balanced, crop production is optimized, and soil erosion is reduced. In contrast, the science from Sanborn shows that continuous cropping without replacing fertilizer or manure nutrients has poor productivity and accelerates soil erosion.
Well, while we've learned a lot about erosion from Sanborn Field, we still have a lot yet to learn. There's still quite a bit of erosion occurring on fields all across Missouri.
What will Sanborn tell us in the future about erosion?
Climate changes over time, and it's been a long time since Sanborn Field was established. And in that time, rainfall's changed and it's become more intense. And that has an impact in the soil erosion. So we really need to understand that interaction between the rain and the soil and how we can mitigate the soil erosion by improving the way we manage our crops.
Erosion is a critical factor in the productivity of our soil. If we lose even just a couple of inches of topsoil, that can really reduce food production.
When food production suffers, we all suffer. So stopping soil erosion is level 1 triage.